I don't know what happened just now. My like there's an error in my stream. I don't know what happened. That's so weird. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. I should go back again. Where was I? So, another thing that happened this week was there's this video that's pretty viral on WhatsApp. It's about some Muslim girls who were eating at a restaurant, I guess, and even though it's like fasting, it's like Ramadan, like they're eating and stuff, which obviously doesn't make sense. But anyways, let's take a look at the video. Okay, there's so many things to break here. There's so many things to break in this. Oh my god, it's so much. It's, oh my god. Now, first of all, where should I start this from? This is pretty hard to break. It's really hard to break in. Okay, so I was shocked. What was that? That was amazing. Let's take a look. That's the first alert for me. Like, what's wrong about eating at a Chinese place? Like, what's wrong? Like, it sounds pretty racist to me. Like, eating at a Chinese eatery doesn't make it haram or not halal at all. Like, it doesn't make it bad or good. I have seen so many non-Chinese restaurants that are, like, so dirty and not healthy to be into. I just don't understand, why do you have to point out, like, look at you guys eating Chinese food. It's like my mentality when I was still a little kid. When I was going to the restaurant, and then we were looking at the order, like the menu. And then I asked my mom, like, is this nasi goreng Cina halal? Because, like, this mentality that, oh, Chinese food, not halal. Like, even though I would admit that a majority of the foods are not halal, like most of the Chinese restaurants, because they use, like, pork. That I can understand that, but don't like, it's not that it's not halal because it's Chinese. It's like, or it's Chinese, that's why it's not halal. It's like, if it's not halal, it's not halal. It doesn't matter if it's Chinese, doesn't matter it's Malay, doesn't matter it's Indian. If it's not halal, it's not halal. Put that in mind. I just realized that my audio output capture is so low, so I guess probably you guys.
Dia cakap dia kerja orang Cina. Lepas tu dia boleh makan. Saya cakap ini orang Islam, kita orang Islam, ini. Yang ini. Okay? Awak duduk diam-diam. Awak
just look at the girl's face. She's just trying so hard to ignore her. It's like, no, she doesn't even do that. She's like looking at his face, like stare blankly.
duduk diam-diam sebab saya tekan Muiz. Korang buat malu orang Islam. Pakai tudung lagi. Apa nak jadi ni semua? Pandai-pandai jawab dalam. Awak jawab. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
This is the funny part. It's like, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya ustazah daripada Universiti Islam Antarabangsa. Saya nak ni mai habaq sikit kat hampa. It's like, what? What is this?
Saya bukan pengikut hukum fikih. Saya pengikut hukum Al-Quran.
I don't know what she's saying.
Berpuasa berbeda dengan hukum fikih.
Hello. Tak ada.
Why is she doing this? Like Kage Bunshin no Jutsu? Kai. Tata cara fikir. Anyways.
Dalam hukum harus hukum Islam 5 perkara. Harus puasa.
Nah, the terminology is not that correct. It's not harus berpuasa, it's wajib berpuasa. Just saying. Oh wait.
Faham? Puasa. Tak ada. Tak. Itu apa yang mananya hukum.
Tata cara puasa berbeda. Ya berbeda ya. There's no difference in tata cara berpuasa. Everyone has the same way of doing fasting. You cannot eat and drink from before sunrise until after sunset. It's simple. It's just simple. But then I don't know.
Hukum mana belajar? Hukum mana belajar?
That's a right question.
Mana?
Boleh.
Saya belajar langsung dengan Allah. She learned directly from Allah. What the hell?
Mana?
Boleh.
What does that mean? She just learned it directly from God? Because like she's pointing upwards.
Mana belajar? Mana?
Boleh.
Okey, nanti awak tahu. Sekarang saya cakap awak. Sekarang ni, demi Allah, saya takkan jawab bila Allah tanya saya dekat akhirat nanti. Okey?
Saya yang akan jawab.
Tu kebebasan. Nanti kau tengok kat kubur kau macam mana.
That's... I disagree with saying that. That's so bad. You don't say to people, like, you take a look at what's going to happen in your grave. You don't say that. There's a story about how there's a guy, he's always drunk, and he would be, like, flopped in front of a masjid. And there's another guy, he always goes to masjid, he always perform his salah, he always perform charity. But whenever he passes this guy, when he goes out of the mosque, and he sees the guy who's, like, drunk and all, he will always, like, beat the crap out of this guy and say that you're gonna go hell one day. Look at you, you're so drunk. What's happening with your life? You pathetic piece of imbecile human being. You lowly life scum. Every single day he would be insulting this guy, on and out, in and out of the mosque. He would always insult the guy, without fail. And so one day, it's destined by God that he died. The guy who always go to the masjid, and the guy who's drunk, before he died, he realized that he made a mistake. He realized of his sins and he repented. Guess who got tortured in their graves? The guy who keeps insulting the guy. You don't think that you're higher than a human being, or a human being is lower than you, ever. Even though, like, you see Hitler in front of you, you don't think that he's lower than you. Never think of yourself as of having higher value than other human beings, because you don't know how Allah judged you. You don't know how Allah sees you. You don't know how God look at you. The only ones who know how close a human being with a God is God. There's nobody else who can do that. But if somebody makes a mistake, of course you have to say something about it. But this is just, you can't just say to somebody like, oh, you look at what's gonna happen in your graveyard later. You don't do that. I think it's super trashy to be doing that. No one is supposed to be doing this. But so anyways, a Twitter user by the name Seriously Cold. I remember Seriously Cold. He made a lot of liberal points against Islam. He was debating with somebody else that day. That of course I disagree with him. But let's take a look at what he has to say about this matter. Invite people to the path of your Lord with wisdom and kind advice, and debate with them in the most courteous way. For your Lord knows best who strays from his path, also knows best who is rightly guided. This is not the way. If you don't learn self-discipline, courtesy, humility, patience, and gratitude during Ramadan, you have wasted your efforts starving yourself for 1 month. If you are fasting, everyone else should be living as normal. They don't owe you any additional respect merely for being able to abstain from food and drinks, and neither should you shamelessly demand respect for the same. It is a test for you, not for everyone else. Note that the prohibition against eating in public is not a religious prohibition. It's probably only enforced in a few countries like Malaysia. I agree with one thing, is that you shouldn't be coming to people and immediately scolding them. Like, you don't know them, you don't know what their life is. Probably the four of them are like on period or something. We never know. I just think it's unfair to be judging them immediately, and immediately come to them to give them advice. You don't know them. You don't know what happened. But anyways, thinking that yourself is better than another human being is never a good idea. It's just not good. Don't do that. But most importantly from this thing is that should people be eating in public if they're fasting? And if you ask my opinion, based on what I have, based on the things and information that I've gathered, I disagree that people should be eating in public, no matter how desperate they could be. And I'll tell you one thing is that when I'm in Japan, it's really hard to eat. Like, people can respect, like in Japan, you're not supposed to be eating while walking. You're not supposed to be eating in places that are not eateries, like, like beside the pavement or something like that, because people are very conscious about cleanliness. They don't want to see garbage or like litters on the road caused by food debris. And it's really hard to find a halal place to eat in Japan. And if my friends who has period goes outside and cannot eat for the whole day because we cannot find a proper shop to eat at, so can you. There's no excuse for you to eat in public. It's super easy. Buy a food from a place and then eat at a confined space at least. It doesn't have to be public. Just find a place where you can hide from people. At least try, for God's sake. Don't eat in public. It's super simple. How can you not eat in public? Can you not abstain yourself from doing this? The thing is, the reason why I think people should not be eating in public when they're having period, unless if you're living in Japan, it's okay because people won't judge you. People don't know about fasting. If you do it in Malaysia, this is one of the reasons why I think you should not eating in public if you're having periods. Is that people are you are inviting fitna. You're inviting people to lie and being slanderous to you, and that is not a good idea. Now, probably you might say, "Oh, that's their fault. That's their fault for fitnah me, for like slandering me. That's their fault." But no, of course it's their fault. I agree with that, but you shouldn't be inviting them to make them that too. Like, let's take care of ourselves together. You take care of other people, and people take care of you. Simple. Plus, I don't think you will die, literally, from not eating in public. I think a lot of people can eat, like, in private places and don't die. Like, and it's not like for the whole day. At night, go ahead, eat in public, do whatever you want, but don't do it during the day, because people can see you, and it invites people to talk shit about you, and that's not a good thing. So please don't eat in public. It's very simple. Anyways, that's that. The next one is about a case of predators using WhatsApp to like engage with the victim, or at least trying to meet with the victim. It's super scary. This is a few days ago. Kasi beberapa hari yang lalu dipetik dari FB Cikgu Fadli Saleh, disguising as the cousin, disguising as a cousin, disguising a classmate, disguising as a teacher. So there's a predator who tries to get to meet with one of the kids at the school because he's sexually attracted to the person. So he literally messaged the father of the girl, saying that, oh, there's a very important project tomorrow, so you have to send her here. It's like, imagine if he were to send her there and she get like raped or sexually assaulted. That would be super nightmare. There's another one. He messaged the teacher, and this time he's disguising as what do you call this, abang saudara, her cousin, I think. I don't understand this message. Kalau boleh dan dibenarkan, saya handsome mengambilnya atas susang keluarga. What does that mean? So it's like, can I, if you give me the like, he was disguising as the cousin and saying to the teacher that there's a little bit of family matter, so can I pick her up? Can I fetch her? That's so scary. If I were to be the father of this girl, I would be so scared. I'll be shitting my pants, literally. That's just so scary. So please take care of children. So whenever you have things like this, please confirm with the parents. Give them a call or something. Like, here's the thing. I think calls are much more efficient because like you can hear the voices. Like there's a case of like people like messaging people like TAC or like TAC numbers and disguising as another person through the context. So the safest way is to call. Like if you lost your phone and someone else is disguising and pretending to be you and messaging someone else, it's not a good idea. Which is why like whenever something related to money, call. Always call. When it's something social security number or anything like signatures or anything, any important documents that could pertain to your identity, give them a call. Never ever message. Never a good idea. That was super scary. Anyways, that's that. Let's take a look at the next one. Now this time it's about zakat. So this is also this week. I want to see when exactly was that. This was posted on May 4th, which is yesterday. So there's an issue in Malaysia where like some liberals are like against Muslims. It's like Muslims are bad, Islam are bad, this is bad, that is bad, and we are all about LGBTQ plus I don't know, LGBTQ plus I think was the thing. Excuse me. I love my CC lemon. What can I say? This thing is like 99 yen. If you buy the 500ml one, it's like 130 through the vending machine. So I'm like super expensive. Let's take a look at the original tweet. So tahun 2016 bawa berita orang Melayu kita ramai makan di gereja adu gelandangan Kuala Lumpur. Tahun 2021 bawa berita zakat hina saya pihak gereja yang bantu hampir 9 tahun. Satu dari Malaysia Deadline, satu lagi dari Malaysia Gazette. Kedua-duanya portal berita online. Both of them are online news portals. And they're trying to bait people like they're basically racial grifters. Like, why are you talking about this? So this kind of exposure is very deliberate to tarnish the good names of zakat institutions. As long as you, whenever you don't receive any zakat help, you immediately go to the church. So, this thing has been explained by the Zakat Center for a long time ago. So, there has been a what do you call that? Distribution of food packs, as much as 1,100 food packs since 2007 for free. And there's like places like it's literally in the letter. And MAIWP, which is Majlis Agama Islam Persekutuan Indonesia, also was cooperating with NGOs to help with the distribution. So I don't really understand why people are criticizing zakat. So this guy, Afian Matrawi, said, once upon a time, there's a guy who were asking for help to the church in Asia Jaya. But then we cannot find that same church. There is no church of that. So it's like, it's pretty weird. So I think a lot of, like, there's this small attack on Islam and its integrity. I really don't really understand it. So so this person retweeted, zakat sudah bantu berjuta orang Islam, liberal diam. Gereja bantu 2 orang Islam, liberal. Hoi, mana tabung zakat tak tolong orang Islam? It's like, what? It's really true though. It really happens. Like this thing. Like, I'm not saying Christians are bad people. I'm just saying that some Christian and some Muslim people are bad. Like sometimes they make this like viralizing an issue about Islam and something like that, and then it was based on a false pretense. I really hate that. Like, don't do that. Like, do you remember with the Uyghur, like how people viralize, like people, allegedly somebody was like chopping the fingers of an Uyghur person, even though that's just a TikTok video, like literally, and it was supposed to be for a joke, but people think that it was an Uyghur refugee who got their fingers chopped off, even though it was for a joke. Like like they're on the right cause to like protect Uyghur refugees, but not by viralizing false pretenses, because once people find out, it really, really reduces the integrity of your argument and your political ideas. Don't operate based on false pretenses. It's really not good. But anyways, let's take a look at this next news. Neelofa. Man, Neelofa. Neelofa is really famous, huh, nowadays. This one is by Fun Size Guy. You know what I see in Neelofa's repeated offense? To display invisibility. Not to be confused with invisibility. That's me with my career. Neelofa is a famous celebrity. She got her name, like right now she is this her image is like, I am a Muslim sort of what do you call that, ambassador. Like, I am a very successful Muslim entrepreneur. Like, I'm really good. Like, I don't know about her. I don't know her personal life. I really cannot see how, you know, like, if she's a bad or a good person. I really cannot judge on that. But the fact here stands true is that she did not abide by the SOP. Now that got really a lot of people mad, but think about this, sheeps. Have you ever think that Neelofa and the other celebrities who like deliberately going against SOPs are trying to get your attention to be mad at them and viralizing their name? The thing is, it gives them recognition, gives them clout, it gives them recognition. Like, why do you have to do this? Like, you know, how can I be famous on YouTube? Make something really dumb about the SOP, or probably something hateful, like hate speech. Everyone will be flocking to this channel right now. I swear to God. Because here's the thing about fame, clout, recognition, is that it really works with hatred. If you do something really bad, if you do something that really people don't really like, they will pay a lot of attention to you. Which is why PewDiePie has said in one of his videos, if you really want to draw attention away from something bad, don't talk about it. If you really hate something, don't talk about it. You're helping the person who you're talking about to be more proactive in whatever he or she is doing. So there's no point in continuing this supposed assault. You viralizing this is not going to help make Neelofa taking accountability based on her actions. It does not help. So why are people still doing it? Some people, they race bait, they are grifters just so they can get recognition, because people like those stuff. People like seeing controversial stuffs. They like to see something out of the normal. People don't want something normal like this show. Like this Twitter talk, it's just normal. We're just talking about stuff. Probably if you agree with it, then you agree with it. If you don't agree with it, you don't agree with it. Like, imagine if I were to say the N-word or the KELING, the cuss word for Indians. Imagine if I were to say that and people viral it on Twitter. I'll be famous as hell now. But do I want to be famous for that? Of course not. I mean, these people, they're enjoying their fame on a borrowed time. And one day they're going to be less relevant, and then they're going to do the same stupid shit again. And we, the stupid sheeps, are going to follow that. We're going to be like, oh, Neelofa did this again. Neelofa did that again. That's how I see this situation. And so this is um portrayed and expressed quite correctly in this tweet. So sebenarnya netizen ada power to crush her down by ignoring her. If she is against the SOP, just immediately report to the police. No need to sensationalize her. Giving her attention is like feeding her narcissistic evil. I don't know if she's evil. I cannot say for sure that she's evil or not. I cannot discern on that matter. Although she did a lot of weird stuff, I don't know if she's evil or not in real life. This is probably a PR move. But she's right. We, as a netizen, has the power to crush her down by not using our powers to crush her down. If we all simultaneously reporting to, not all simultaneously, but if a lot of police reports are lodged against her, I'm pretty sure police are going to do something. And even if they don't do something, don't pay her attention. Just let her be. The more you talk about Neelofa, the more she's going to gain popularity. The more she's going to gain fame and recognition. Like, I never talk about Neelofa. All of a sudden, we are talking about her because SOP stuff. Let her be. Like, you don't need to viralize. It's not going to happen. This is very important. There's this thing, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a social activist movement on Twitter. It's like, you think you can make a change in the world by signing petitions or viralizing something bad that somebody else is doing? It never works. If you want to do actual activism, right? If you want to do something that actually changes the world, go out of your house and lodge a report. That's how you do it. You don't go and talk on Twitter, talk shit on Twitter, getting retweets and likes, and then what's going to happen? You're going to sleep, and next day is going to come. Nothing changed. Nothing will ever change. This is what Firdaus Wong said in his Instagram. He made a post, a really good one. He said, dari membayar beratus ribu untuk iklan, lebih baik melanggar SOP secara tidak sengaja, in quotations, lalu upload di media sosial supaya netizen kecam dan mendapat perhatian media, kemudian diulas pihak berkuasa dan disiasat, kemudian dikompaun 1K, 10K, hatta 50K. Bayar beratus ribu mungkin keluar iklan sehari dua. Tak sengaja, in quotation, langgar SOP bayar kompaun jenama dipetik media berhari-hari. Return on investment ROI yang bagus dibanding dengan budget marketing yang compound. Apakah ini mungkin marketing strategi para influencers, selebriti atau ahli politik untuk stay relevant dan nama sering dipetik media? Sangka baik itu ajaran Islam, tetapi Islam juga mengajar pemikiran kritikal. Maafkan saya, cuma saya suka mengkaji dari perspektif berbeza. Saya telah dilatih sejak remaja untuk senantiasa melihat suatu perkara dari beberapa perspektif berbeza bagi menanjamkan minda dan memperkemaskan decision making. So, bagi setengah individu, berulang kali dikompon melanggar SOP adalah bajet marketing yang berbaloi. Mungkin mereka tidak tahu, tetapi ada yang sengaja buat dan minta maaf kemudian ulang lagi. Apa sangatlah RM50K untuk jutawan bagi tujuan marketing bagi memastikan jenama dipetik media. So here's the thing, like, ladies and gentlemen, like, what he says is right. This is what I've been trying to say. Like with the case of Masura Chana, a lot of people know her name at that time because of the viral tweets made by Shobon-san. Here's the same thing too. That's why I always say to people, in Malaysia, if you really, really want to be famous, if you really want to have influence, do something super stupid, rude, that really gets people riled up, and people are going to viralize your name. That's how you get famous. That's how Sajad got famous. Sajad didn't get famous because she's beautiful as a transgender. I shouldn't probably say she is, probably say he, because he is a biological man. I don't care. People might say it's rude. I don't care. He's still a biological man. Every chromosome in his body is still XY. No matter what happened, no matter how many surgeries he undergone, still an XY chromosome. But that's how Sajad got famous. That's how a lot of stupid people got famous. That's how Dato Alif Shukri got famous. He made this weird looking ads. Like what was the trademark? I can't remember. I can't remember the trademark. If someone can remind me, I'm sorry. That Thali Shukri got famous because of the stupid ad that he made, and people were laughing at him. That's how he got famous. That's how anyone get famous nowadays. Like, just be stupid. Do you know that one of the famous actress from Suso, Dinas Mokhtar, she has a YouTube. You don't know that, but let's say Dinas Mokhtar went against SOP and somebody viralized it, you probably would know her name right now. You probably don't know what kind of movie she's been to. That's just reality of Malaysia, which is why there's this sheep mentality. Like, people trying to be vindictive on certain people who's quote unquote made a mistake or evil. Like, but by doing that, it doesn't really do anything to them. They get more benefits than harm when you do that to them. You know what? It kind of gives me this theory that maybe some of these influencers like hired somebody to like viralize them, right? Saying, okay, I want you to make a tweet saying that I went against SOP. I'll pay you some money or some or stuff. The more viral it becomes. I just don't think it's impossible at this point. But anyways. Let's take a look at the talk about clusters. Now, nowadays, we perform like this really harsh regulations on the normal citizens. Like in this case, a lot of normal citizens, they get compounded $10,000 and 10,000 ringgit and stuff like that. In Miri right now, it's 1,500 ringgit if I'm not mistaken if you breach the SOP. But let's take a look at what is the main cause of transmission. These are percentages of COVID-19 case contributions from clusters in Malaysia. 48% from factory, and this is from February 22nd until April the 2nd, 2021. This is the cases reported from Cluster Declaration Day. This is 9,316 COVID-19 cases reported from 314 different clusters. And look, factory is 48.06% and community spread is 12.55%. So these are the cases of clusters from cross-state travels, right? It's not that much. It's like 6,022 cases. $6,000 cases from I don't know how many cases. I don't know how many total, but it's small. Now the thing is, I understand the need to the need to keep factories alive. I totally understand that, and the way that we can deal with this is practice SOP and social distances. But why are you pushing this really harsh laws on normal laymen, like on normal people every day like us? We are the buyer, we are the consumers, we make the gears of economy move. Why do you have to do this to us? We consume and you get the benefits of the consumption. Right now, I don't really understand why the government is doing this, but again, I just want to make this very clear. You, as a normal person, as a layman, keep your mask on, practice social distancing, SOP. Stick to that. Just please stick to that. Even though I disagree with wearing masks when you're alone outside, or when there's nobody like around you. Like I go to work with bicycle. Like I take my mask off because like, why would I be wearing mask? Who's going to transmit it to me, and who am I going to transmit it to? Like. But here's the thing: in Malaysia, if you were to cycle outside in the park alone, or if you were, walking, taking a walk, breathing fresh air, if you don't wear a mask, you can get compounded for like $2,500 or 10,000 ringgit. That's how effed up Malaysia right now. And that compound is super, super expensive. Like, please, for the love of God, don't torture us like this. Now, the thing is, the main transmission does not receive any repercussions. How can the normal people, who probably earning less than these factories and industries, are getting find more. Like, what's the point? But here's the thing: you can avoid all of this by sticking to the SOP. Remember the steps, scan and stuff like that. I know it's tedious. It sucks. Sometimes it breaches on your human rights to go outside and have a good day and breathe fresh air. Now you have to put this blockage in front of your face so that foreign particles doesn't come in. It's really annoying, but we just have to stick with it. What can we do? You complaining, it's not gonna help anything. Or the solidarity by I don't know, Fahmi Reza. I don't really understand the dude. Solidarity and stuff like that. Come back to me when there's an actual change that Fahmi Reza made. Come back to me. Like, we can talk about these issues. I know what my talking about these issues is not going to change anything, but I'm here to inform and give my takes on things. I'm not going to perform solidarity until I get arrested to the freaking prison. So right now, the total 65.24% cases comes from the cluster of factories, detention centers, and construction sites. So what are we going to do with this? Like, 65% from industries, from industrial sites. 65% and 35% are from people cross-state, combined with travel and shopping malls and schools and stuff like that. And you're going to find more to us? How does that work? I don't understand why is this a thing. Like, why does governments do this? Anyways, that is very frustrating. What can we say? So, enough with SOPs and stuff like that. Let's talk about another pressing matter that I see has been discussed a lot on Twitter, Instagram, or even Facebook or WhatsApp. It's about lowering down your view, I guess, the way you look at people. Tak tahu ajaran agama mana lelaki kena tunduk pandangan, perempuan boleh dedahkan aurat. Lelaki kena tunduk pandangan, perempuan pun kena tunduk. Perempuan kena tutup aurat, lelaki pun kena tutup. Clear kan? So if I translate this, I don't know which religious teachings teach men to men have to submit to. Women can expose their aurat. Men have to be submissive. Women also have to be submissive. We have to lower down our gaze. Everyone has to do this. Now, what does this pertain to? It pertains to this idea that sexual assault victims or victims of rape, they don't have because they were raped by guys should change the way they behave. Guys should be not raping people. I agree with this. It's not that I disagree with it, but just that some people use this idea to legitimize the fact that women can dress whatever they want. Now, this is applicable to non-Muslims. Like, if you want to do your stuff, go ahead. But for Muslims, and if you claim yourself to be a Muslim, follow the Islamic teaching, or at least agree with it. If you don't follow with the Islamic teachings, and you say, oh, we can dress whatever we want, guys are still beasts anyways. They're going to rape us anyways. It's like, oh, thieves are still going to go into my house anyway, so what's the point of me protecting myself? What's the point? Like, what's the point of me locking the doors? I mean, people are still going to come in. What's the point? People are still going to kill me with a knife. I don't need to protect myself. What's the point in that? Like, do you understand how ridiculous you sound right now? Because there's a lot of predators outside, you have to protect yourself. And by protecting yourself, it's not just by covering your aurat, but looking at the conditions where you are going out to. Make sure that you go out in groups. Make sure you don't come out late at night, too late at night. And you probably say, "Oh, how can guys can go outside at night, and how can girls cannot go out?" I'm not saying girls cannot go out, but you need to have someone to accompany you. If that makes sense. This idea that guys are still going to rape us or sexually assault us anyway, so we don't have to cover, is stupid. Because if you apply this with any other things in this world, for example, I don't need to lock my doors. People are still going to steal and break into my house. I don't need to lock my doors. I don't need to put grills, and I don't need to have these precautions. What's the logic to that? There's no logic at all. This is the thing that I see, and it really boils my blood. I don't even know how to say it to you. It's really stupid. And so one of my favorite Twitter accounts, which is Iblis Telatnat. It's so weird that I'm saying that Iblis Telatnat is my favorite account. Like Iblis Telatnat is my favorite. So it's about he screenshotted this. Kenapa ramai orang terperanjat bila ada lelaki terangsang tengok perempuan pakai baju ketat atau dengar suara perempuan? Sepatutnya kita patut lagi terperanjat bila tahu ramai lelaki Melayu Islam tak boleh behave bila tengok perempuan regardless of what they wear. Macam peruk. The thing is, we have impulses. Every guy, including me, we have desires. We have lusts. But we are not going to talk about this because this topic is taboo. Because if we go into this topic, it makes us look worse. This is something that everyone should understand. Because had guys not have any desire or lust, there's no kids going to be in this world. There's no way people can reproduce. Because like, if sex is not a good thing, if sex is not an enjoyable thing, if it's a painful thing, people won't be doing it. There's no reason for me to exist here. I will not exist here had people don't like sex. Sexual relationships, sexual acts are natural. It's natural for people to have desires. So, let's look at what he says. Sex ni topik tabu. Sampai ramai pilih untuk deny atau buat senyap. Deny atau senyap sampaikan buat terperanjat. Bila dapat tahu nafsu lelaki boleh bergelora hanya dengan suara perempuan. Padahal hadis dah explain dah. It's already explained in religion that people have lusts. Guys have lusts. If you cannot understand that, you're being in denial. Tapi masih ramai juga nak teruskan deny, tak tahu kenapa. Mereka deny as if mereka tak bernafsu, as if manusia ni default mode dia adalah tidak bernafsu. Tak tahu logik mana dia cedok. Mungkin disebabkan logik inilah modern parents biarkan je anak-anak agak bebas sehingga anak pergi holiday dengan BFGF pun on je konon spotting. Stupid. Mungkin mereka percaya bila anak-anak cakap bilik asing-asing sebab takkanlah anak mereka bernafsu kan. Yang bernafsu ni cuma manusia-manusia jahat je. Anak-anak mereka baik. Bab pergaulan, bab aurat, bab tundukkan pandangan, bab tingkah laku, bab adat suami isteri, semua Islam dah gariskan selari dengan fitrah manusia yang bernafsu. Benda simple je pun sebenarnya, tapi kenapa jadi benar tak tahu kenapa. Makan hasil banyak, rasa riba banyak sangat. Got this sarcasm right there. Liptard ni banyak benda natural dia nak deny. Here's what I always say when it comes to liberals versus conservative argument. Conservatives entertain this idea that humans should stick by their nature. For example, homosexuality is not natural. I know this is a very conservative opinion. Probably a lot of people are going to be angry with me and want to cancel me. Homosexuality is not a natural phenomenon. It's not. We are designed to have sexual intercourse with the different gender, to fall in love with the different gender. And the reason why is because most feminine characteristics are designed to nurture, and most masculine traits are to give and supply for the for the nurturing process. That's how God intended to create us. We should stick with the nature. We should stick with our natural environment, with our fitrah. That's what we call it in Arabic. And it is outlined in the religion. It's outlined in Islam. So that's why whenever there's a Muslim who wants to be a feminist and trying to say LGBTQ rights and stuff like that, I'm like, bruh, you do know it's already outlined in the religion that this is wrong. So, gender ada dua, deny. Kewujudan nafsu, deny. Kewajipan tutup aurat dan tundukkan pandangan, deny. Bahaya pornografi dan lawak-lawak lucah or obscene, deny. Lepas tu, bila makin hari, dunia makin ranak, Melayu Islam juga yang salah. It's so stupid. Lelaki ada nafsu, perempuan ada nafsu. Di kelas kafar sekolah dadah pun dah belajar. Tapi yang tu abang kat Twitter ni tak tahu siapa duk mengkalut. Lelaki nafsunya lebih kat nak usha. Jadi tak tundukkan pandangan. Tu kalah dengan nafsu lah, tu maknanya. Yang perempuan pula nafsu dia untuk diusha. We like to do stuff to girls, and girls want recognition. They want people to be like, "Oh, you're beautiful, you're amazing, you're just wow, simps, Sims and the queens." that's why like there's it exists on both sides. It takes two to tango. Please just accept that. Sebab tu kat social media, berduyun-duyun duk post selfie, OOTD, video menari-nari, tayang itu ini sebab itu nafsu dia. Dia orang buat semua tu sebab dah kalah dengan nafsu dah tu. Nafsu ni benda fitrah, natural, sebenarnya jadi normal. Islam nak tunjuk betapa normalnya nafsu ini sampaikan Nabi sendiri yang terlihat perempuan lain terus mendatangi isterinya untuk memelihara iman. Kau nak cakap Nabi pervert ke? Sudah-sudahlah para liptat dan konco-konco yang bengang dan menegakkan benang yang basah. Konon terpaling boleh kawal nafsu seka korang sendiri berapa ramai penzina dan perogol. Nak binasa, binasalah seorang-seorang. Dah simpan seorang-seorang ideologi bodoh korang tu jauh dari masyarakat. Tak faham juga? Ni aku dah susun lama dulu, susu cantik-cantik dah, pergi baca. I'm not gonna read that right now, but korang cakap pasal yang rogol kambing, perempuan yang menutup aurat, ahli keluarga, batang paip, ular, ikan, penyu, plankton, etc. Itu adalah cancerous tumor yang makin banyak tumbuh rapidly hasil dari kehidupan moden yang korang sekian lama dambakan. Rogol ni dia punya gila, sampaikan kambing pun dia rogol dan macam-macam benda tak masuk akal lagi. Apa yang membuatkan korang fikir korang boleh educate diorang untuk tak rogol manusia? Now here's the thing that I see a lot of arguments people say that instead of educating girls to cover themselves up, we should educate boys to not raping people. Do you think you can educate people who has sexual attractions on kids, like pedophilians? Do you think you can educate people who has sexual feelings for a pipe or seeing people like raping a snake? I've seen the video before. It's someone sent it to me. Do you think you can educate these people? These people are crazy. No matter how much you want to educate them, they still want to follow and retain their position. As I say, the people, instead of educating or trying to educate these people, why don't we start with ourselves? This is what Jordan Peterson always say, that individual responsibilities overrides the collective responsibilities. If you cannot clean your room, settle your rent, or do anything meaningful in your life, then don't try to change people. Don't try to make a collective movement. It doesn't work. Islam diturunkan untuk kesejahteraan, maka absence of Islam akan lead to kecelakaan. Korang ingat dedah aurat tu tak ada akibat. Tak tundukkan pandangan tu tak ada akibat. Zina tak ada akibat. Sebab ada konsen semua okey. Tengoklah sekeliling korang. Netflix penuh soft porn. TV drama bodoh. Hindustan gelek-gelek. TikTok, IG, sokmed semua perempuan menonggek tak cukup kain. Tayang itu ini. Lepas tu jenaka lucah makin banyak. Buat porn reference tanpa sekas hidup etc. Pelik ke program makin ramai? You are making all of these references that really rile people up. And now you see an in the increasing of people being this stupid, sex-hungry people. And that's the outcome of industries, marketing, TVs, medias, promoting all of this bullshit to you. And then you say it's their fault. I say, of course, obviously it's their fault because they take it the wrong way too. But a lot of people are dishing all of this wrong source. I really don't understand this argument. But anyways. Progol ni manusia yang otak dia dah rosak. Boleh jadi birth defect, boleh jadi juga otak tu asalnya okey, tapi makin hari makin dipunahkan dengan pelbagai racun sampai cukup satu masa dia jadi rosak. Orang yang otak dia rosak, dia tak negotiate dengan kita. We don't because we won't win. Akin to we don't negotiate with terrorists. So kita nak kena buat apa? We stay away from them. We take all the precautions and we pray hard so we'll never cross paths with them. Only through this we can really take care of ourselves, and at the same time taking the steps to create an environment that with time there will eventually be people with otak rosak. Dan semua ini bermula dengan acknowledging the fact yang semua orang bernafsu. That's why I just love Iblis Telaknat account, because it just sums up all the points so amazingly. Now talking about liberal side, there's this another Twitter user that I really like. He is Alexander Cortez, PhD, fitness, nutrition, fat loss, and whatever it is. The liberal white woman is an never before seen in human history. Now, what is this pertaining to? This video shows exactly how children end up as trans. This little girl is just babbling like little kids do. She has no idea what she's saying. The mother seizes on and exploits that confusion for her own reasons. Psychological abuse in its worst form. Now, let's see the video. Wait, what? Is it taken down? Really? You've got to be kidding me. This tweet is from a suspended account. The account was suspended. Why is it suspended? Okay, for you guys who probably curious about what happened. So basically, this mother was talking to her daughter, and she was recording. She was asking her daughter, like, do you feel like you're a girl or like you're a guy? And she said, I feel like I'm a man. I feel like I'm a boy, but I'm not sure. I don't really know. And the mother was like, thank you for recognizing that there's no binary gender. Thank you for realizing that people cannot be, like, you're not born with the gender that you're born with, and gender is a social construct. And she's using that to her advantage to push this idea of transgenderism on her kids. Like, I just don't really understand. Although I do disagree one thing with it, like Alexander Cortez. This is not a typical liberalism. Like a good liberalism is not like this. This is just from left, I guess. I don't really see how this is, from liberal side. I don't really want to trash the liberal side to that way, because like there's some liberal people who can you can engage in conversations with and understand their point of view on some things and why do they think that way. And I think it's okay to have oppositions, because when you have oppositions, you start to think about your ideas. And this is a very interesting story to me. This liberal women thingy. But yeah, that's just really scary to see this movement in America. But I'm kind of seeing this movement start to grow a little bit like cancer, like a cancerous tumor in Malaysian hemisphere. People start to talk about not transgenderism, like LGBTQ. People start to talk about feminism and human rights, and I'm like, soon. And there's a lot of cancel culture. The thing is about cancel culture, you don't really it doesn't really cause anything to the person other than you are making the brand much more out there. Like, if you want to do something, it's not by attracting more attention to that people. And I can guarantee you, most people who want to perform cancellations on other people, they low-key, they want clout for themselves too. They want people to be like, oh, you agree with me? Now, give me likes, give me retweet, follow my Snapchat, follow my Twitter. That's what I think is probably happening right now. But anyways, that's it for the news today. Let's take a look at the questions we have on Instagram, because we don't have much. So the questions that we get today, I think we only have 2 questions. So there's 2 questions. Another one was written as boo, so I don't accept that as a question. We have 3 responses, but we only have 2 things that's... the other one is just stupid. We only have 1 question that actually makes sense here. Vaccine in Japan. I don't really know about vaccines in Japan, so I really cannot talk about it. But right now we have in Japan we have this thing called Mayemboshi. It's a state of emergency where, for example, in restaurants you need to have like protective shields. Like you see like these plastic covers like between customers. That is part of the Mayemboshi initiative, or called or short form as Mambo. So it's very interesting to see how Japan is reacting with the virus right now. I don't really know about the vaccines yet, so I really can't say much. I'm sorry, but the thing is, I really can't wait to get the vaccine. I want to get the vaccine, as long as I don't have to pay. Because if I have to pay, I'll probably be thinking twice. If it's too expensive, probably I'll be thinking twice. But I think We'll probably get it free. I think it's part of part. I think it's compulsory for all of us to receive it. But anyways, that's all for the question today in the news. Thank you so much for watching. Although not a lot of people watching, and I aspire one day that I get a lot of more people to watch. And here's the thing about YouTube algorithm: the more you upload on the same time of the same day every single week, inshallah, you will get people to see. Now, I really hope that this is going to be leading to a better future. And I know I want to try to do a lot of things, and it didn't work. But I hope this one works. I think it will. I think it's going to be the longest series other than my other unsuccessful series. But thank you so much for watching tonight. I'm your host, Idil, for Twitter Talk. Thank you so much.